Good afternoon and welcome back to my organic kitchen. I'm just going to wait to see if some more people joining. I know that a few people were going to join this live cooking demonstration that I'm going to do for you today. I did the same this morning in Spanish. I'm lucky enough to be bilingual, which is a real blessing. So let's just wait for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm just going to unwrap the fish that I bought, and I'm going to place it on the board, ready to start cooking with everybody. To make sure that I know what I'm going to be cooking with. So we're gonna wait a couple of more minutes. I said 5:30 Pacific time. Hopefully we get people from other parts of the world as well. I know that Australians are in the Saturday morning, so I'll be very happy to see some Australians coming and joining us, so that will be great. I'm going to give a quick clean to my fish, and once a couple of minutes pass, if you can wave when you're ready to go. The idea is that we are going to cook along, so I really hope we can do it together and have fun today. And we can make a delicious ceviche together. Will be really, really good. So let's see if we get a couple or a few more people joining us. I don't know if anybody has got trouble. Sometimes the live issue is not so easy. Like I know people are used to the online classes when you click on the link, but I'm not doing that as yet. I'll be doing that soon, but at the moment this is so nice, free and live, so you can join in, or you can always look back later if you want. So it's 5:35. I have waited a little bit. I don't want to wait too much longer, because I don't want to, those of you who've been here at 5:30, I think you deserve to get your class started as soon as possible. So welcome to my organic kitchen. I am very happy to be back. I've been away for a while. I've been teaching. It's summer here in California where I live, and I teach every day now that the children are out of school. So this week I've been blessed to have a week off, and I thought, my followers, what can I do? So last Saturday I made some ceviche for lunch. I really wanted to have ceviche. It's cold, it's hot in here in Northern California, so ceviche is a beautiful summer meal, and I thought it was a perfect lunch. We tend to eat a smaller or lighter lunch than a dinner. So I got the idea of making this live demonstration or cooking along. Hopefully you guys are cooking along with me. And so I did this morning at 11:30 in Spanish, and now I'm doing it in English. So let's get started. I can see a few people there. So hello everybody. I'm so excited that you're coming here. You can leave a comment both in Instagram and in Facebook. I might not type, but I'll try to answer your question verbally. So someone has just found me, so that's great. So let's go through everything that we need to cook together. Of course, we need fish. I've got some, what is it that I've got here? I've got some striped bass that I bought in my favorite fish store. When you buy fish, I advise you to go to a fish store. I'm not a big fan of having packaged food, so I avoid buying packaged food. And also, if you go to a fish shop or a fish store, they know what they're selling you. And when you ask them, look, this is what I want to make, they will give you the best choice and the best options that they have. Very important, you know where your fish comes from. If it's farmed, make sure it's sustainably farmed. Some of the farm fishes, they have a lot of chemicals. They're not good for you. You don't want to eat those. But if you're really concerned about, some of the things that say about fish, I will put it in the freezer. And once you freeze them, all those things that say that it's not good for you, they disappear when you freeze your, So, I've got my piece of fish weighs about a pound, which is what I said in my post, that you needed to have a piece of fish of about a pound. And okay, so I have the fish, and obviously it's in a chopping board. I've got a really sharp knife. This is a special knife to cut prosciutto, jamon, which is very sharp. But if I'm Spanish and I've got a couple of these, but if you don't have one of these, just a very sharp knife to cut the fish is all you need, okay? And then for vegetables, I've got a quarter of a red onion, which is what I said in the recipe in the post that you will need. I've already used part of it. I've got a whole jalapeno that I believe I forgot to tell you. So if you happen to have a jalapeno at home, please go and grab it. If you don't worry. We can use cayenne to do the spice. But if you've got some green capsicum or a green bell pepper, go and grab it. We can add that just for the green color. I've got half an avocado. I used the other half this morning. I've got 2 beautiful heirloom tomatoes here. I bought them fresh at the farmer's market where I go. They're sort of medium size, if you can see by the size of my hands. I've got lemons. I used all the limes. I used all the limes this morning, so I'm going to be using lemon. You can make ceviche with either lime or lemon, whichever you have at home. And I'm very interested of making it with lemon, because then I can try the both. I've made it this morning with lime and we ate it for lunch. It was delicious. My husband said it was nicer than the one I made on Saturday. I've got half a cucumber. This morning I used the other half. I'll explain to you why later, why I've got a cucumber. You don't need to. This is an extra that I'm adding just to give you an idea to serve the ceviche. What else do we need? I've got some microgreens here. This is all I've got left. If you didn't get your hands on it, it doesn't matter. Cilantro or coriander will do. I couldn't find any coriander yesterday. I went to a couple of stores. Here in the US, tomorrow is the 4th of July. It's a holiday weekend, as they call it here. No cilantro or coriander to be found anyway. So I'll do it without it, but if you have coriander or cilantro at home, please, gives nice color and very nice flavor to your ceviche. I've got some cumin. We're gonna give it a little touch of cumin. It gives it a really nice flavor. I can see more people are coming, so hello everybody. We're going through the ingredients, but we'll go through them along as well. I've got some cayenne pepper here, some cayenne, in case that we want to add some extra spice. My husband definitely have added more. I've got some pepper. I've got salt here. I use some Himalayan pink salt. I've got a little peeler to peel the cucumber. I've got a couple of plates to plate, so I'm going to show you 2 couple of plating when we finish making the ceviche. I have chosen this tray. Yeah, I know it's Christmassy, isn't it? But because it's flat, this pie dish is perfect to put the little pieces of the fish with the lemon of the lime juice, and it's gonna cook evenly. You can use a bowl if you like, but if you're gonna use a bowl, try to have a bowl that has got a bigger base than this one, so your fish is gonna cook a little bit more evenly. Then obviously I've got tostadas. Tostadas is not other thing that a corn tortilla deep fried. So these are very easy to find in any Mexican store. Here in the US you can find this everywhere you go, but if where you live you don't, maybe just online, or try to find a South American store where you can find them. And I've got some totopos here, some corn chips. I use the Spanish one. I like the purple corn, or the blue corn ones are my favorite. This is because I'm gonna give you a couple of choices when we're gonna play. So if everybody is ready, you could please wave or say hi or give me a thumbs up somehow, so we all go at the same pace. This is very different than having you know, in a screen, like on Zoom meeting or something. So I really don't know where you are. But please, if I go too fast, if you need me to slow down, send me a message, let me know. I'm seeing everybody, so that's fine. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the fish. So I've got this blue, chopping board. If you want to know more about this, why I'm using this, I'm just gonna adjust this screen a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. I invite you to go to my YouTube channel. In my YouTube channel, you will find some tips and tricks videos. I've got about 4, and in one of them I explain everything about chopping boards. So anyway, so what we want to do is we want to cut the fish in really tiny little pieces. So you can cut, I like making little slices of fish. My poor husband said to me, "Oh, are you cooking ceviche for dinner tonight as well?" Because he already ate it for lunch. I said, "No, don't worry, we're gonna eat it. We've got a picnic tomorrow to celebrate the 4th of July. So this one will be overnight, and I'll take it to the picnic tomorrow." I'll try anyway. I had to make sure that I'll try. This fish that I'm cutting has got the skin on, but as I'm cutting it, obviously the skin will stay here. I'm not going to worry about taking the skin off before. You can see I'm doing these very thin, very thin pieces of fish. The ceviche that I normally get from the taqueria close to my house, they make the ceviche in really small pieces. But I like it this way. So at the end, when you finish watching, you can next time, or now you can decide to cut the pieces of fish a bit smaller if you like. This is actually quite a big piece of fish. When I get the fish from and I saw it, I couldn't resist it. It looks so good, you know, it's so fantastic. So I hope that you guys are cooking along with me. I see a few people have decided to leave. Maybe they're not ready to cook along. But hopefully they'll come back, or they went to look for something that they didn't have. So if you don't have a knife like the one I have that I'm using, which is perfect for slicing, just get a really sharp knife, and always be very careful when you cut in the kitchen. I always tell my students in my cooking classes how important it is that they use knife carefully. And if you teach a child how to use a knife safely in the kitchen, you don't have to worry about being dangerous for them. I've taught knife skill to children as young as 5 years old, and they have gone home and teach their parents how to do it. So it's quite amazing. or children are capable of if you teach them, you know, well enough. So this is coming along really nice. It's a bit more, this morning I used a different type of fish and it didn't have the skin. So it was simpler and easier to cut, but I think this fish is going to have a lot more flavor than the other one. I'm getting bigger fillets, so I'm gonna put them on the side and I'm gonna cut them a bit smaller afterwards. So if you have any question in the meantime, please ask me. So if you just join in, welcome. We're cutting the fish to make our ceviche. This ceviche that I'm making for you today is based on a Mexican style ceviche. You know, ceviche is quite spread along South America and Central America as well. I had a friend of mine from Costa Rica this morning in my Spanish speaking class, and she, when I mentioned the jalapeno, she was the one who suggested that if you didn't have a jalapeno or didn't like it, the spiciness of the jalapeno, you could use green bell pepper or green capsicum instead. Okay, I think I'm not going to keep going. So this fish is gonna go to the rubbish or the trash. I'm gonna quickly rinse my hands and I'm going to start putting the fish in my tray, in the tray that I've chosen. Again, I've chosen this pie dish because it is flat and it's going to make easier for the juice of the lemon, which is what I'm using in this case. I ran out of limes this morning, I used them all. So, and I'm gonna cut some of these pieces a bit smaller because they're a bit big. But you can cut it any way you like, okay? If you're gonna eat it in the tostada, smaller pieces are easier to eat. But, you know, I always say when I teach a recipe, this is the way I taught you how to make it, but now go home and make it your own and choose which way works better for you. I think we all have our own style. And I definitely, whenever I cook something, I always make it my own. It's definitely a lot more fish that I had this morning. I can see that. So I'm glad I've got 3 lemons because I think I'm going to need the 3 lemons. This morning I had a little bit less. I had 2 fillets, but they were a lot smaller than this one. And I put whole 2 limes. But don't worry about the quantities. You will notice now when we're cooking it, but I can always, I will write the final recipe and publish it in my blog when I'm ready. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands because the fish. Now with the lemon, the smell will go. So what we're going to do now, we're gonna add the juice and that's going to cook the fish. And while the fish is cooking, we're gonna prepare all the other things that go with the ceviche. So I'm gonna get a couple of lemons to start. Now to get the maximum citrus juice out of a citrus fruit, whichever citrus fruit it is, you want to roll it on a flat surface. So when you touch it first, it's quite firm. Once you roll it a few times, it becomes really nice and much softer. This is gonna give you much more juice out of it, and also even if you're grating it, you'll get a lot more rind zest out of them. Besides, it gives me a really nice hand massage. So I'm gonna do this too. This morning I used 2 limes and they were a bit bigger than these lemons. See, for the size of my hands, they're not too big. And I'm going to juice them I'm gonna bring the juicer here because this morning people didn't see that I was juicing. So now that I watch my video from this morning myself, I am correcting everything that I thought I needed to correct this morning. So we're gonna get the juice of the 2 lemons. Half a lemon will be about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So whenever you are cooking and a recipe asks you for a tablespoon of lemon juice, half a lemon, pretty much. I mean, if the lemon is very big, obviously you will have more, but on a standard lemon, half a lemon is a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I think we're gonna do 4 in this case. Please pay attention how I'm cutting. I'm not gonna do any knife skills in this class because I could be here all afternoon talking about it. But I will be doing another tips and tricks soon, and I will be doing knife skills, at least basic knife skills. It's very important to know how to use a knife so you cook better, safer, and more efficiently in the kitchen. Okay, so let's go and see. Smells so good. I feel I'm going to do the 3rd lemon. So hopefully if you are at home, you have extra lemons or limes, because I'm going to put 1 more. This fish is a lot bigger than what I cooked this morning and what I cook on the weekend. And I did put 2 limes in the weekend when I got the idea, and that's the photograph that I posted for you. So the lime, or in this case the lemon, is what is cooking your fish. So ceviche is a very healthy meal. No frying, no oil, just fresh fish, lemon, vegetables. Very, very healthy. Okay. So another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of salt. So remember, I've used 3 lemons. Sorry about this. I want to put it back in this place. I use 3 lemons, and I'm gonna put a good pinch of salt. Now, very important you put the salt now, because the salt is also going to help cook the fish. I'm gonna mix it around a little bit to make sure the lemon juice, in this case I'm using lemon, you might be using lime at home, goes all over the fish. And don't forget the salt that I put in it as well. It has made a very big difference in between the ceviche that I made on the weekend and the one I made this morning. So sort of we're learning together. And if you are able to see, the fish is already starting to change color, which means it's cooking. It's cooking nicely with the juice. Okay, so I like really fresh ceviche. So I normally like to eat it immediately after I finish cutting all the vegetables that go with it. But this one is gonna go overnight because I'm gonna use it tomorrow. Okay, so I've got a quarter of an onion here, red onion, Spanish onion, purple onion, any way you like it, calling it. I always like using this type of onion when I use raw food, when I'm gonna eat it raw, or when I'm cooking with tomato as well. It's a little bit sweeter than the white or the brown onion, and for me works better with tomatoes and when it's fresh. If you haven't seen the video about how to cut an onion in my YouTube channel. Please go and look. I'm not going to give you any explanation. I'm just going to cut. What I want you to be aware is I haven't cut this part, the part where all the little hairs are, and my onion is all together. So that could give you an idea, but please go. Tips and tricks number 2. And I'll show you that you won't be crying, but you can just pay attention how I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna cut it into really small pieces. So I'm cutting along, being very careful with the other hand, and I'm gonna cut it this other way. If you can see, you saw I changed knives. This one is too small. This one is the perfect size for me to cook. The size of your knife is dependent on your height. I am 5'8" feet, about 173 centimeters tall, and this knife is about 8 inches, which is perfect for my height. That has a lot to do with how good it is for your back when you're working, how it affects your shoulder, how it affects your hands, your arms. You will not believe. It is very important that you work with the right knife, so you won't have any injuries. All this is very interesting, isn't it? Now I will add the onion immediately to the fish. You can see the fish is already changing color more and more. You can see here more and more, because the onion is really sharp, and by mixing it with the lemon, it's gonna take a little bit of that heat that raw onion has got, and it's gonna also mix with the fish very nicely. I always macerate raw onion with lemon if I'm gonna add it to a raw salad. So the heat that the raw onion has really slows down a lot, and it's much pleasant to eat. It's not so sharp. I'm not a big fan of eating raw onion, and that's why I always choose red, because I find it sweeter, as I said to you before. And by mixing it or macerating it with lemon or lime juice, even orange juice as well, it releases some of that heat, and it's much more pleasant to eat. Okay, so we're gonna leave our fish there again, and now we're gonna go and we're gonna cut the tomatoes. I like cutting tomatoes with a serrated knife. I find is the easiest way to do it. So I've got 2 medium tomatoes here. We wanna make little pieces of tomatoes. I'm gonna cut the top with a paring knife. This is not exactly a paring knife, but it's the closest that I have to a paring knife. These heirloom tomatoes are beautiful, fully in season. They're amazing. Expensive too, but it's worth. So I'm gonna cut them. We're gonna cut them in little pieces. Look at these beautiful tomatoes. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? Because I don't eat a lot of raw tomatoes, because I remember there was a time in which tomatoes didn't taste like anything, and I thought, I'm not gonna eat tomatoes anymore. Now I'm not deciding, because they don't have a lot of seeds. The ones that I used this morning that were sort of medium Roma tomatoes or pear-shaped tomatoes, those ones, or tomatoes, those ones had so many seeds, but look at these. These ones are beautiful. So I'm not gonna deseed them. Plus I cut them in the wrong side. This one are more difficult to know where to cut them from. And they're beautiful, really, really beautiful. We just cut them in little square pieces, sort of little like you were chopping your tomato, yeah? That's the way you want to do it. Excellent. So is anybody cooking along with me? Could you please tell me? Yes, I'm cooking along with you. I want to know. It will be so fantastic. I know someone asked me to join me in the video, but I only have my phone for this, and it makes it really hard for me. So I rather, if you have questions or you need to ask me anything, I'd rather you send me a quick message, or even after the class you can send me a private message, or just go to my website carmensorganickitchen.com and go into contact, and I'll be very happy to answer any question that you may have, and be in contact with you. We're getting there. So 2 medium tomatoes or tomatoes for a pound of fish, which is just under half a kilo. Just under half a kilo. I mean, if you live in a country where they use metrics, just ask for half a kilo of fish. It's fine. So I know I've invited many people to attend this class, so I hope that they're having fun and enjoying it. I know not having the interaction is not the same, but this is a free demo. So if you will be interested in doing classes with me, I will be delighted to hear what you're interested in. I'm planning to run some paella classes online. I will be doing that soon, so stay tuned. It's gonna happen soon. So we've got our tomato all nice and chopped. I'm just gonna put it on the side for the time being. And now I'm gonna show you how to cut a jalapeno. Hopefully you have jalapeno at home. If you don't, please pay attention, or even record it if you like, because this is a skill that you will really appreciate when you have to cut a jalapeno. I forgot to tell you that I wash my veggies in vinegar water. So I put a bowl with water, about a tablespoon of white vinegar, let them soak while I'm getting everything ready, and then I just pat dry them before I study the class. So we're gonna cut the little tail, and then we're gonna get rid of all this white part. Okay, so you're gonna use a small knife, a paring knife if you have. This is the smallest knife that I've got at home, but this morning worked. It has to work now too. So we're gonna go around with a knife, and you're gonna get that off, and you're gonna continue with the knife going inside. Make sure you don't break it the least you can. The jalapeno, this jalapeno is quite big, so it's allowing me to get the whole knife. What we want to do is get all the inside out. By doing this, what we're doing is we're getting rid of where the real heat is. The real heat in jalapeno is in the seeds and in the inside. So if we don't touch the inside of the jalapeno, we don't have as much chances that if we touch our face or eyes, it's gonna hurt, okay? You will still wash your hands after it, but you know, we've left it completely clean in the inside. There's not a single seed in there, okay? So now, and we haven't touched the inside. So I'm going to get rid of all these seeds, and I've got a bowl always where I put all the scraps, everything that goes in my greenways. Okay, we have greenways here in California. Anyway, if you've got a compost, you wouldn't put in it lemons or the jalapeno. So now we're going to get your jalapeno like this, and we're gonna make little cuts, okay? We cut a little line and we cut another. Think that we're chopping it really small. So just make line in the inside of the jalapeno. Make sure you don't touch the inside, so you've got less chances that if by a mistake you touch your face or your eyes, they're not gonna hurt, they're not gonna sting, okay? And now we're gonna make like a little fan. See, we've got the jalapeno cut in little strips, and now what we have to do is we're going to chop it small, okay? I'm gonna change the knife now. I need to use my bigger chef knife, and we're gonna cut it in pieces like this. So I haven't touched the inside of the jalapeno. This also allows you, if you're only gonna use half, then you can put this away and you will be able to use it within a couple of days or so. But this is how you cut a jalapeno in a safe way. And so if you haven't learned anything new today on this, I hope that this is something that you take with you and you share with others. I was very surprised the other day that one of my followers and someone that I have befriended recently put on her Instagram stories the way I cut an onion, and she was saying that for her it was an eye-opener and something that she's sharing with everybody that she knows, and you know, that made me so happy. So I really hope that you have found it interesting. Practice and teach other people to do it. Okay, look at this fish. It's very white. It's just changed to opaque. So we're gonna add the vegetables that we cut. When you're doing that, always use the part of the knife that is not sharp, so you don't damage your knife. I never find the word, you know, it's so hard. This morning I couldn't think in Spanish and now I can't think in English. It's really funny. I'm gonna use my hands because I've got a little gap and I don't want the tomatoes to go into the gap. I want them to go into my pie dish, even though we're not making a pie. So let's mix this through. Look at these beautiful colors. What do you guys think? Doesn't it look lovely? I was remembering this morning when I was cooking that my mother used to make a summer salad with fish, and it used to be very similar, but she used to make layers. So she would do fish, tomato, green capsicum or green bell pepper, onion, then fish, and it will go with lemon. She will put a little bit of olive oil and things, and she will let it sit in the fridge for a day, and then we will eat it the next day. So I thought, that was my mother's way of making ceviche. Okay, doesn't it look lovely? Well, if you have coriander, this is the time for you to add a good handful of coriander. Unfortunately, I have none. As I said to you, the 4th of July festivities here in the US, when I went to the shops yesterday, it was completely finished. So I didn't have. So I'm gonna add some of these little microgreens. If I can open. I've been having my own lately as well, but last week when I went to the farmer's market, unfortunately the lady that sells them didn't have any, so I'm gonna add quite a few, and I'm gonna leave the others for I'm gonna leave this little bit for plating. We just change a little bit. I really like these ones. Will add, this is like micro radishes, so it's gonna add a really nice flavor, but definitely fresh coriander, fresh cilantro gives a really nice fresh flavor to your ceviche. And this fish is almost cooked. You don't want to cook it too much. It's almost cooked. And now we're gonna give it the touch. We're gonna add a little bit of cumin. I added quite a bit this morning, so I think about a quarter teaspoon. I'm sort of doing it a little bit because this morning I put some and then I had to add some more. So, and I could really taste it when I ate it, and it was beautiful. And we're gonna put some pepper afterwards. But I always like mixing spices one at a time. Cumin is one of my favorite spices. You know, I was born in the south of Spain, so cumin is in every food that we eat over there. And for me, that I'm learning so much about Mexican cooking, living here in California, I'm really surprised, happily surprised, how much cumin goes into most of the recipes that I have learned so far. And this is an addition. I haven't come across any ceviche that has got a little bit of cumin, but I really like the flavor that gives it. Okay, I'm going to add some freshly ground black pepper. I only use whole black peppercorns that I've got in this shaker, and freshly ground is the best. So that's a manual grinder, and that's the only one I use. But I think white pepper wouldn't go with this, but if it's the only one that you have, just add a little bit until you're happy with the flavor. And we're gonna add a little bit more of salt because I only added a little bit at the beginning. And we're gonna prepare now for plating. We're gonna prepare for plating. And I'm happy with the way the fish is cooked. You can leave, I'm gonna leave this for tomorrow. So I'm gonna put it in an airtight container and leave it for tomorrow to take to my picnic. But it's ready to eat. It doesn't need a long time, you know, it only needs a little bit. So we're gonna leave it on the side for a moment. I'm gonna take all the knives and I'm going to clean my bowl. This is vinegar water that I have always in the kitchen. 2 parts of water, 1 part of white vinegar. And I clean everything. It's perfect for cleaning while you're cooking, because if it goes into your food, it's not bad for the food. It's just vinegar and water, and it cleans everything very nicely and disinfects as well. And I use this type of sponges in the kitchen because they're made of biodegradable materials, so it will go into the rubbish or the trash and it won't harm the environment. Okay, stop talking, Carmen, let's plate. So is anybody who is cooking along with me having any questions so far? I think I've got a couple of questions. How much cumin did you add? I think about a quarter teaspoon more or less. I sort of did it a little bit to the taste, because of the way I did it this morning. But yeah, I would say a quarter of a teaspoon. Start with a quarter of a teaspoon, and if you want to add more, then add a little bit more. Always start with less. You can always add more. Okay, one thing that I didn't do, pardon me, I've been talking so much. I'm gonna do some stripes in this cucumber. I'm gonna use the cucumber like a dipping, like I was making a canapé. So for those people who wanna have a low carb diet, I was thinking of my body pump group of people who most of them are in a low carb keto diet, and I thought, what can I do? You know, when I say ceviche tostadas, they also tostadas, yeah. And then I went cucumber, because the ceviche from Jalisco actually has cucumber also added to the mix. With the tomatoes and the jalapeno and the coriander or cilantro, they also add cucumber. So I thought, I'm gonna use this. So this one, I'm gonna stripe. The skin of this local seasonal cucumber is really tough, but I still like having some crunch. So if you have an English cucumber or a Persian cucumber, those ones are really nice and thin. The skin is not a problem. I will eat that skin with no hesitation at all. So I'm just gonna cut some stripes. I'm gonna do it in front of you, like you were doing a zebra, yes, sort of thing. And the only thing that I'm going to do with this one is to give an option, a low carbohydrate, a low carb option for those people who don't want to eat tostada or don't want to have corn chips. They've got something crunchy to eat with the fish, and it works really well. And I need my knife. I'm gonna give it a quick rinse. I was cutting vegetables so I don't have to worry. And I always like cutting it sort of diagonally, sideways. And just like you were making, this is too thin. Like if it was, like a cracker sort of thing, that's probably too thick. Just like you were making a cracker, that's what you want to do. So this is a really nice thing, thickness. Imagine you cutting, if you were making crackers, cucumbers make really nice low carb vegan crackers. So a lot of crackers have got eggs and butter, so they're not vegan. Obviously, vegans wouldn't eat ceviche, but they can eat pico de gallo. So you can make a pico de gallo on the side, and then you've got everybody covered. If you've got a few people that have different food preferences. Okay, so I've got my cucumber cut, and now we're going to plate. So I'm gonna do a couple of platings for you. So the first plating we're gonna do all tostada. Just clean this again. Which is the tostada is the one that I did the other day, the one that I show you. So I've got the tostada on my plate. Now I forgot I got so into it. I forgot the avocado. So I cut it in half this morning. I'm gonna get rid of, that's it. And I'm just gonna I got a smaller knife because it makes it easier for me to slice it. So I'm just gonna cut it in the middle, and then I'm just gonna sort of slice this way. I hope you can see me. So just slice this way. You don't know how happy it makes me to see that some people are really cooking along with me. Because if this works, I'll be delighted to keep doing it, really. I can wait to share, all my cooking knowledge with you, really. Okay, so we're ready to play. So I just cut, like little slices. And with a spoon, we're gonna scoop it out, and it's gonna be really easy for the plating. In reality, the avocado is only for decoration, and also the avocado is gonna sort of blend really well with the flavors of the lemon and the onion and the jalapeno. So it's gonna balance that heat and that sourness of the lemon. It's gonna be fantastic. So we're going to get our ceviche. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I want to add, if I want to check the seasoning, or if I want to add more cumin, like we were talking about before. So I'm going to grab a bit of everything. This is a much more softer fish than the one I used this morning, but I'm going to add a little bit more of cumin. So I think that all up, for the pound of fish, we're gonna add about half a teaspoon of cumin. Don't be scared, it gives it a really nice flavor. Now, if you like a little bit of extra spice, you can add a little bit of cayenne pepper or cayenne. This jalapeno, compared to the one I used this morning, this jalapeno is not as spicy. So I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne. And not even a quarter teaspoon. I'm just gonna add a little bit because I always prefer people to add their own. And I'm gonna add a little bit more of salt. When you have a salty dish, the way to solve that problem is adding some lemon or lime. Because there's so much lemon here, we need a lot more salt for it to actually work. And you want it to taste beautiful anyway, so. But we're quite salty in this house, so maybe you don't need as much salt as I put, okay? As I said before, start with less, add a little bit more later. I'm going to clean my fork because I shouldn't double dip. People are gonna eat this food tomorrow. So let's try again and see what happens. Yeah, definitely that little kick, that the cayenne is fabulous, and that little bit more of the cumin also really good. Now for me, it's missing the freshness of the coriander or cilantro. So unfortunately, I don't have any, and I cannot add any more microgreens because I need them to plate. So let's plate. I'll just show you one. I'll have to eat it anyway. I'll show you one. So don't over put it, and make sure you put plenty of tomatoes and as well. This fish is so delicate. The sea bass is beautiful. I think I used tilapia this morning because they didn't have this one when I went to the fish store yesterday. And okay, so I'm happy with this. I hope that you guys can see well. I'm happy with that. Now we're gonna add a little bit of avocado. I'm gonna just grab it from, I'm just gonna get the spoon and I'm gonna just put it inside, and I'm just gonna get a few. See how easy the slices come out? And now all you have to do is place them nicely around. I'm a bit shaky because I'm a bit nervous. And you can put as much or as little avocado as you like. It goes really well. It's gonna complement the sourness and the saltiness and the spiciness of the fish, of the ceviche, really well. I'm gonna add a touch of salt because the avocado doesn't have much flavor, and to make it pretty, we're gonna put some microgreens inside at the top. Doesn't it look beautiful? Look, doesn't it look amazing? Looks beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna do the second plating. The second plating that we're going to do, we're going to use the corn chips, and this is going to be like just for dipping, okay? So I'll show you. So we're gonna add, instead of having the tostada, we're going to just plate a little bit of the ceviche in the middle of the plate. This is an idea. You can plate it at, you can even serve it like this and have the tostadas, the avocado, have like a little ceviche bar, as I call it, and everybody serves themselves. But if you want to, you know, serve a plate, you can also have like a bigger platter with the ceviche in the middle, and then have some corn chips on the side. Don't forget the avocado. The tostada is really nice because you've got it all into one and you just grab it and you eat it. It's messy, but it's nice. And the crunchiness with the fish gives it a really nice texture in your mouth. It's really, really beautiful. Let's see if I want to get a really nice slice of avocado here, so it looks nicer. I'm happy with that. I don't know you, but I can't have my hands dirty. It just makes me really uncomfortable. So as I did before, just because of the avocado that doesn't have much flavor, just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and I'm just going to use the rest of the microgreens that I have. I don't have any more. Doesn't it look pretty? They're so, and these microgreens, a tablespoon of these microgreens have got as much vitamins as if you ate a whole plate of maybe broccoli. So I'm going to put a few, I'm going to grab the nicest, this is a piece of tostada broken. I don't have the nicest corn chips available. So I'm looking for the biggest one to put on the plate so it looks really nice. So the idea, and then here is where the cucumber comes along. So you put it on the plate and you've given people the choice to do low carbohydrates, or if they want to eat some carbohydrates in the with the corn chips. So there you are. We've made ceviche with a Mexican twist. I call it ceviche Carmen's Organic Kitchen style. I added the cumin. I think it gives it a really nice flavor, and I thought of this second plating during this week, so I could give you two different versions of what to do with your ceviche. So if you have any questions before I go, I'll be very happy to answer. We're gonna be almost an hour, and I never like making my demonstrations so long. So as I said to you, contact me by private message through social media, or just send me an email, or go to my website carmensorganickitchen.com and go contact, and I'll be very happy to get in touch with you and answer anything. I hope you enjoyed what I've shown you today. I hope you enjoyed how the demonstration has gone. If you've got any advice for me, I'll be very happy to hear from you. I always like to make things better, so hearing from you will be the best. And anyway, I'm going to be finishing soon, so thank you. Happy 4th of July if you live in the US. If you don't, have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to stay safe. We still need to. And the most important thing is eat well and be happy. I'll see you soon. Thank you.